All right, welcome back to HOTC with Jay.
Jew.
And we got a guest. Go ahead. You got it.
Yeah, man. It's my daughter, man. She came onto the scene. His niece?
Yep. That's what it
Niece?
would be.
He got a niece that he ain't know about, an illegitimate niece. So it's Lexi, man. Thank you for coming on to the show. First, want to say hello.
Hello, and of course, anytime.
What up, Lex? What up, Lex?
Hey.
Can y'all please let me put my cup down. This is water in here. No funny business. But Lex, can you please I want you to explain it, not Julius. Can you explain this relationship of how he has a daughter that's near his age? This is like some Don't Be a Menace to South Central stuff going on here. What's going on?
So basically it started in high school. He pretty much he had a crush on my mom. So he stated that I was his daughter because he's my stepdad, because he's gonna date my mom. So that's how it all started.
If I may proceed, can I ask another question before he even speaks?
Nah, because you see how she my daughter. You see how she looked out? Love you, dog.
Mm-hmm.
Did your mother happen to be dating anyone or married to anyone at this particular time?
I don't know if she did anybody. She's not married though.
At that time, though?
No. Well, I really don't know. Like, we graduated dang near almost 10 years ago, so.
Oh, y'all acting like y'all old now.
We are old.
Low key, this could have been disrespectful if she was with someone.
Y'all. You ain't asked me. I remember vividly clear.
Yeah, we know you lying, but go ahead. Let's hear your honest side of the story.
My ex was single at the time. You know what I'm saying? She was single at the time. So I remember, it's funny that let's bring that up, because I remember we would go to UWM. You know how you used to go to UWM together. And sometimes me and Lex would go to her crib first before hopping on the bus, because she lived right near King, because she was doing things at school. Oh, we actually could talk about this. She is one of the reasons why I started selling honey buns and stuff. Her and one of our other friends back at the time, you know, they had the game on lock. I don't know if y'all was doing that at y'all high school at, what was 1986? You was back in high school, James?
Huh? You proceed.
Okay. So back when y'all was high school, y'all had people that sell chips and stuff, right?
No.
Oh.
I went to a private school. We were taught to be entrepreneurs. There was no selling of anything. We didn't have those issues.
Entrepreneur. Speaking of Lex, how did you start selling chips in school, and what did that lead to?
Well, hold on. Sorry, Lex. Before we gotta provide some order. We just all throwing
we throwing them shots.
Right? Lex she done just jumped into something. Okay, so Lex, let's get a little introduction of you before we speak about how y'all met and your entrepreneur. So, your name is Lex. If you care to say your age or a roundabout.
I'm 26 years old.
26 years old. Are you from Milwaukee, Wisconsin?
Yep, I'm from here.
Born and raised?
Yep.
And your people, like your parents, they're from Milwaukee too?
No, my family from Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Ah, see, that provides something different. I was actually going to go to college in Michigan. Still Midwest, but we love it. And I'm curious because I've only met you maybe once or twice, right? Because unlike now, you normally would take care of my brother's hair. So what was Milwaukee like for you? And I'm curious now because, you know, I get Jules' side, but what was Milwaukee like for you growing up?
I really don't have any no bad things to say about Milwaukee. Like, it seemed like very, I don't know, like nothing bad really. Honestly, like I didn't like grow up in bad neighborhoods or anything like that. So I have like nothing bad to say about Milwaukee.
That's dope.
I want to jump in here real quick because this is funny. This is how bad Milwaukee get. And Lex, this is what me and my brother do on the moment. So welcome to this spotlight that you're about to be put on. What made you not just start talking about the positive then, instead of saying that you didn't have any bad moments?
Because most people always think that Milwaukee is bad.
Yeah. So you feel like you got to counteract that. Got you. And what was you gonna say, James? That was my bad.
No, it was countering that. Like I thought it was dope. I've never heard of a story like that in my life with anybody from Milwaukee ever. Nobody in y'all generation, my generation, never heard
Is
of
that my
that.
grandson?
Yes, he acting,
Oh Lord,
acting
here they
like a
go.
baby.
Lexington.
Lexington,
I don't know.
stop.
It looks like a baby. Looking at the
It's
hand.
not a baby. He's acting like
James,
a
you
baby.
might be right over there, Big James.
I don't know. I got a 5-year-old over here. I know some.
Lexington is what, 4?
Yeah, he 4.
Oh, that's dope.
Yep.
Lexington. That's a dope name.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Actually, talk about your salon.
No.
Oh, okay.
Right, because James said we gotta go in order now.
Yeah,
Don't be
we
listening to
just
your uncle. What?
we all over. We all over. We want to paint the picture
Oh my
because
God.
You
So
right.
okay, cool. So it's dope. You say you don't have any bad things to say about your upbringing in Milwaukee. Dope. So y'all went to high school together?
Yep, we went to Rufus King together.
Dope. Okay, so I'm going to ask well, leads us to what y'all were talking about. My brother used to sell honey buns in school. So in high school, before we get to any of that, what were you like in high school? Like what was your
Me, I was pretty much like a hustler in high school. Like I would sell snacks, like any type of snack that you could think of, chips, honey buns, Rice Krispie treats, candy. What else I used to sell? Pretty much. Oh, bus tickets. I even sold clothes. Like I would like distress clothes and sell them. I even did hair too in high school as well.
you was the plug?
Yeah, I was a plug.
Okay, now Julius, stop me if I'm going to, because I'm the old head here, so I'm curious to pick your brain to get a different perspective of someone
You know
choosing.
what I'm gonna say.
My question for you, and then I'm gonna be quiet after this for real. What for the moment anyway. What developed this I don't want to even call it a hustling, but a entrepreneur mindset for you to have at such an early age? Where did you get that from?
I really don't even know where I got that from. Well, I guess it could go back to like my family and all that. Like my granny, she owned a daycare for at least like 10 years. At that time, I don't know if my mom owned a business or not, but like now she has a business and then like my uncle as well has a business, but at that time they didn't have businesses. Oh, and my dad, he's a realtor, but I think back then he used to have his own like I forgot what it's called. You know like how Williams has like their own real estate group and then they like have other realtors come in that sell houses and all that. I forgot what that's called, but that's what my dad
A
did.
subcontract.
Yeah.
Yeah, they sub people in. So dope. So would you like to say, I'm just trying to make sure I understand you feel like you were taught to be an entrepreneur, or you just paid attention to the moves they made?
I paid attention to the moves that they made. I was taught to like go to school to become like a doctor or a lawyer,
Dope.
not like to be an entrepreneur.
Dope. So you went against the grain
I want to jump in
indirectly.
here because y'all both are a lot alike in that way of being very observant. Because Lexi didn't tell this part. High school, she didn't talk to nobody. She was out the way. And if she was rocking with you, you was cool. And that was
Mhm.
something that I thought was always dope, is that she ain't gonna be in no mess. She gonna make her money and she probably gonna go home, do some homework. And what middle school did you go to, Lexi?
I went to Mount Calvary Lutheran School from kindergarten all the way to 8th grade.
Mount Calvary. Yup. So then, James, what middle school did you go to?
I went to Believers in Christ from 3rd grade to college.
So we all went to some type of Lutheranish, some type of school like that. Where do y'all, I can't ask myself this question, so I'm asking y'all too. Where do y'all feel like that going to that type of middle school put y'all at in high school? Like, do y'all feel like it, like academically, what did y'all feel like y'all was on par with other kids, but socially behind because it was maybe a smaller school than what other people came from? Or I guess I'm gonna start with you, Lexi, and then jump up to James.
Being that like I went to the same school from kindergarten to eighth grade, going to King was a huge adjustment because mostly everybody in my school, like we came up from kindergarten all the way to the eighth grade. So I didn't go to like King with any of my friends from kindergarten to the eighth grade. So it was a huge adjustment because I'm so used to like basically having my family with me to like going to a school that I don't know anybody. So it was scary. But I think just like my personality overall is just embedded in me. I don't think it's anything to do with like my past schools. Like I've always been like quiet and to myself.
Got you. And what about you, James?
Well, being that as I stayed in the same school with a lot of people don't know as I was actually going to go to King, but uh, I think my to give my school credit, shouts out Believers in Christ as one.
Oh, hey, because you see, I ain't been trying to cuss you. So Lexi, Lexi,
Nah.
right now you can be the person. So he has this nigga. That's my one too. No, that don't count.
Yes, it do.
Now, Lexi, do an N word count as a cuss word?
I guess because I don't cuss at all, and I
Oh
would
yeah.
feel weird saying the N word. So
Man, you was about to give me the cuss. I was about to say, God of here.
Yeah, she really don't. And that's funny now that you say that.
Right. You setting the
So
tone.
I got a cussing counter and he got a shout out counter because he will shout out the world if he can. And you know my mouth, Lexi. So we just need you to be aware for us, okay?
uh-huh.
My
Hey,
dog.
don't take sides. Just keep it funky, as we say. But no, so what I can say is being at Believers in Christ, I really think that they set the bar very high. Like, for example, we couldn't use calculators, right? And what it allowed me to do in the future, as I understand, I'm very fast with count numbers in my head. Like I can run them real quick, especially being from Milwaukee with people trying to hustle you. You know what I mean? So it don't matter how fast you talk, I'm breaking the numbers down in my head and I'm figuring it out. Now, what came very confusing and what gave me anxiety, I went to Marquette Upward Bound. So the education system was different from how I was taught. So I was kind of playing catch up because I didn't understand the curriculum, so to speak. Now, come high school, dad wanted me to play football. And our whole family went to King, right? Everybody went to King. I was the only one, arguably, that didn't go to King.
Chris
Went to Riverside for a short time. Like it was really
I didn't even know he went to Riverside.
Yeah, Chris went to Riverside. Riverside or Madison, but I'm almost sure it was Riverside. But that made me think of the movie Juice. So when I went to King, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't go to King, excuse me, when me and my mother visited King to decide if I was gonna go there or not. My credits wouldn't transfer, which actually now that I think about it, it does make it, the curriculums were separate. They weren't the same. So I wouldn't have graduated on time going to King. I graduated 2001. I would have graduated 2002. And in my high school, I was actually supposed to graduate a year early because I only had one class. It was like, you could take this class your junior year and be done. And I was just too scared. I was like, man, I'm not going to college.
You weren't ready
early.
for adulthood yet.
Nah, not even that. It's just like, I don't want to do the college work. I know it's going to be more. I'm not going to make it hard for myself. So
yeah.
I didn't graduate early and I didn't end up going to King because of the credits, but I was a little scared about their curriculum because I related it back to Marquette. I'm like, I only got Marquette a couple hours a week. If I got this all day, I feel like I'm kind of starting all over from the curriculum as I knew it. So didn't go, and I actually was happy about it because I didn't want to play football either.
Hey, Lex, you gonna hear him say that? Oh, yeah, you don't like football, boy. So, James, you mentioned something, and now this brought up a question for you, Lexi, because this even is a question to this day with your business, which we're probably about to jump to. James mentioned how there's fast talkers, hustlers. You know, you can get hustled in Milwaukee. With you coming from a background of not really having anything bad, not having to look out or kind of be aware if somebody's trying to get over on you, how did you prevent yourself from getting hustled or taken advantage of when you was selling in high school? Because you were still young, Lexi, at that time.
Basically, my mom raising me to not get hustled, basically, like always. um oh, like basically just I don't know how it's just like have a mind of your own and like don't let nobody try to talk some foolishness to you. Like that's how she taught me. Like I remember one time, one of my friends in middle school, she told me that her sister just had a baby at St. Joseph Hospital, and she was like, they shot like the baby floor was like all the way up, and then she was like, they shot up the window where my sister was in after she just had a baby, and I'm like, oh my god. So then I went back to my mom and I told her, and then she was like, Alexis, like you really think that that happened? Like you need to like really sit back and like think about stuff and not think that everything somebody tell you something is the truth. So like when she told me
Wow.
that, it made me realize like, dang, you really cannot just take everybody word. Like you really have to have a mind of your own and like think critically about stuff, you know? But that was like the first like example that my mom gave me. So
Uh,
pretty much my mom, she told me
You
to, huh?
is that one too, James? Is that what you're doing? Oh, I
No, I
thought
got
that
a
was one
question.
shout out for Lexi. I was like, all right.
I was about to. I was about to. Because mom's is the one. But and I was
Yeah.
really low-key one without doing it. But question for you, Lexi. When your mother told you that, how did you take that? Not in the moment, but you know, because you could take that so many different ways. You could be like, man, my mom she don't even know what's up. Like, why would she lie to me? Or you could take it in an angry way and go back to the person like, yo, why are you lying? Like, how did you actually receive that information?
When she told me that, like I just sat there and thought about it like, dang, she is right. Then I went back to my friend because she had said it again, and I'm like, that could not have happened. Like her being all the way on that top floor, and then she was like, "Yeah, you right." And then that really made me think, like, dang, my mom is right. Like you gotta like really think about stuff. Like you can't take everybody word for stuff. Like they just be talking sometimes. So
That's dope. That's a dope way to learn.
Because Lexi comes from a similar sibling background as us.
I can tell.
So yeah,
I can tell.
and it we talk about that sometimes when we in the shop together. And I'm curious,
What
Lexi,
shop? What shop?
what matter of fact, let's get into said shop. Lexi, what shop are we talking about?
my shop, Lexington
What
Honor Salon.
and
Oh, where's that at? Where would they find that at?
It's on 57th and North Avenue.
what you
Oh,
do in that shop?
The primary thing that I do is like protective hairstyles such as braids.
that's
And
dope.
and if you don't mind me asking, yeah, hold on, let's take the time. Come on, Lexi, let me see one of these. Get yourself. Come on. Yeah, there we go. We
Yeah.
all about the community, boy.
All right.
So Lexi, how long have you had your shop?
July 2nd of this year, it'll be 5 years.
Dope.
How old is Grayson?
5.
Ooh. How old is Lexington?
He's gonna be 5 in May of this year.
Can you tell people about that story? You have a successful shop and about to have a 5-year-old around the same time. How did you do it, Lexi?
Honestly, I don't even know how I do it. Like I still think to this day, like, girl, what are you doing? But basically, the shop that I work in, I mean, that I have right now, I used to work in when I was a teenager, probably like at the age of like 17 or 18. Um, so the previous name of the salon used to be called Prima Donna Salon, and it was based off like $50 sew-ins. So I was hired there to braid down for the sew-ins. And then eventually the owner taught me how to do the sew-ins. So long story short, in 2020, the previous owner, she wanted to like sell her salon and move out of town, but she didn't want to like sell her salon to just anybody, so she reached out to me because she said I was one of like her best employees, and like I was very proactive, and she wanted her salon to be placed into good hands. So she asked me, did I want to buy it from her? And at first I said no, because I just had a baby in May, and I'm like, I haven't even did hair in like so long. Like, why would I just up and buy a salon? So I was talking to my mom about it and all that, and my mom, she was like, I think you should buy it. So then she was like, if you want to buy it, then I'll go half on it for you. And then I'm like, okay, I'll buy it. So then She asked me in June of 2020, and then I bought it in July 2nd of 2020. So it happened fast. Yeah.
Oh,
So
that's dope.
mhm.
And take it. Shouts
Look
out to
at it.
moms.
Look at it. Hey, Lexi, he was it. Lexi, he was
Hey, you
he
know
said,
what?
I got to.
Lexi, I'm pretty sure if you're not here already, you're gonna go there. When you have a child, you have a different type of respect for your parents, right?
Mhm.
And then for me, looking at other parents, whether it's you just taking care of your child while we're on the podcast, little stuff like that, or as a
Mhm.
mom, a parent they have so many options. They could be like, well, what you want to do? Right? They're leaving it up to you, which there's nothing wrong with. But then when you have somebody say, my pops went half with me on a car, right? Like, hey, if you want it, I'll pay for it, but you got to give up half. You know, that was his way of teaching me discipline and also helping me.
Mhm.
She's helping your ownership.
Mhm.
That's separate. That ain't like, yo, I'm gonna help pay your college tuition, I'm gonna help pay for this car or help with the baby's diapers. Like, that's your spot. So from all perspective, you know me, I love the process, Drew. That's hard.
Lexi, that's why I told you I had to get you on here because I knew he would enjoy that, and we ain't even get there yet because
Shout outs.
we ain't even talked about Shein. What you doing right now? What are you currently doing, Lexi?
I'm in school right now for cosmetology because I want to do more than braiding hair.
Look at this! Look at this! Look at this! Look at my kid! Hey, can't take no credit for the.
I really hate that. I want to tell y'all both. I really hate it for both of y'all.
Yeah, you know, he come from that era where he called people job turkeys, so they don't really get down like that.
Never,
But
never.
no, but James, I got a question for you. Being an entrepreneur and seeing, how do I want to say this? Seeing people your age go down different paths than you, but having similar talents. What would you say is something you would tell young James to either get him still on the direction now or to just give him more advice? And Lexi, that question coming to you too. I just want to go to him first.
Uh, that's a good question. Honestly, I can't for someone like me, I wouldn't say do anything different. I think I search for as much, you know what I can. There's always a way you can do better. I could have networked more. I wanted to be behind the scenes so much that there was only so much information I was gonna find without being hands-on. But to disagree with that in the same breath, sometimes you find out the wrong way. And I say that
Yeah.
being specifically about the celebrity entertainment industry, excuse me. Sometimes you can place yourself in situations that will get you in a bad light or locked up or what have you, and you learn from that. I didn't have to have those situations to say, kind of like I was when I was a kid. Like, it's like, oh, that's what they doing over there, and I ain't going over there, right? And I learned that way. But now that technology has changed and people are telling their stories and there's so much information, it just it confirms what I was up against. So I don't know if I could tell myself to change anything because I just look for things that didn't feel right, that didn't sound right, that I felt was a lie, even if it wasn't a lie. I'm like, well, at least I'm fine over here. So I couldn't. Now the people that weren't like me, I would tell them to try taking more risks because it is safe, but that doesn't necessarily fill your purpose.
So that's the main question I wanted to get to. What would you tell somebody in your position younger? So Lexi, I guess I want to phrase that question a little differently for you. What would you tell a young girl who maybe goes to a bigger high school from a smaller school, who wants to sell candy, who wants to do something like that, who wants to do hair but don't know how to time manage or don't know, like, how did you do that? And what advice would you give younger Lexi to make it a little bit easier?
I think the biggest thing is just do it. Like, don't be like overthinking too much. Like, I think that's the hardest thing to do is just like jump off and do it. Like, you can't overthink it and all that. You can't wait for the perfect time because there's never a perfect time. Just do it. That's the biggest thing.
We're gonna have to clip that one. And there was a
I got
question.
I
Oh,
got a
don't.
question for Lexi too.
Mm-hmm.
Say someone young does just do it. How do they cope with the idea of social media versus real life, right? Because in the business, you know how this goes. Everybody got 10,000 followers and 100,000 followers, and they're making this amount of money, and they're doing all of this stuff. And we know behind the scenes, it's just marketing, right? But these kids don't know that. So how do they cope with something like that when they're unaware?
I basically would say like stay in your own lane, and one of like the biggest things that I learned like being on the journey of being an entrepreneurship is comparison is the thief of joy. Do not
Mm,
compare yourself to anybody else. Like this is your life. Like God has a specific path that he wants you to go on, and just follow God's lead. Don't compare yourself to nobody.
dope.
I'm glad you said that because now this brings up the question for both of y'all. What's been the hardest moment for y'all as an entrepreneur?
You want me to go first? Do you got it?
Oh, who got to answer first?
I got an answer, but I'm just, being respectful.
I'll let you go first.
All right, for me, I'm gonna be short. It's roller coasters. I know when my money hidden and when it ain't hidden. I know January is one of the worst times for any entrepreneur. I don't care who you are, and I know it bounces right back after tax season because people just get real arrogant when that money come in, right? So I think the idea of me wanting to be an entrepreneur was never for money. It was for freedom to do what I love in a creative manner. But I have a family.
Mhm.
So, I think I was a little, I'm not going to say I was blindsided. I didn't go and search for that information. And it took me a couple years to realize, like, wait, hold on. Like, this ain't fun for the rest of my family. So I'll say that those financial roller coasters, and I'm going to say this, like I said it on the last podcast, this is the worst financial moment for me ever in entrepreneurship in life ever. And I know it's going to be dope when we come back and we talk about all of the dope stuff now. So I'm
Yeah,
celebrating right now. Right?
because
Shouts
that's
out
how
to
you
right
do
now.
it.
Right,
Facts.
right, right.
Because you don't get to appreciate the up moments if you don't have the down moments. So
Word. I want to be transparent too. Nobody talk about that. They don't talk about their lows, especially in entrepreneurship.
they don't
Sorry,
talk about their lows. She said,
Yeah,
"Yeah, you stole mine."
that is exactly what I was gonna say. It's like all the lows that you go through while you're an entrepreneur, like you just have to basically keep your faith with God while you on the journey of entrepreneurship because it's gonna be so many different lows. And then another thing is like when you in like your low season as an entrepreneur, I think you should just observe all of that low because once it get good, it's like you just wanna I don't know, like basically like even if it's bad, like enjoy the moment. Like for example, my in December my entire salon flooded.
mm,
Like everywhere it flooded. And instead of me being sad and stuff, like I'm taking pictures literally like in front of it was kind of like a waterfall because it was a pipe that burst above my salon and it was just like pouring and instead of being sad and stuff like I was taking pictures smiling and stuff like that because I'm like I know that it's not gonna be all bad, like it's gonna get fixed and all that, so I might as well just enjoy the moment instead of be sad, like, so
mm.
that's the biggest thing.
I
That's
like
dope.
that.
I'm gonna add to that too. This is one thing that I wish in our community of entrepreneurship existed more. There's not a lot of togetherness amongst the entrepreneurship, especially in these moments. Well, dope. We got heart to the community, but everybody just so busy being an entrepreneur. You don't get to have They have these networking events, but it's normally as I've seen it, popularity contest. It's not a hey, how's your business going? Well, I noticed I got these people that I can bring over here. It's more of, you talking about people who could be doing better business rather than us helping people do better business. Or I have this client that's been looking for you. I have my own personal situations with people that I do that with, but collectively, I don't know. You can speak to that, Lexi. That don't exist too much in my world.
No, I don't think that it's like a lot of like mentors that could really help you with entrepreneurship. It's like you out here on your own and you just trying to figure everything out on your own.
I
Yep.
think that's where this is leading us to, though. Hearts of the community,
Hmm.
because all of the different avenues, different people, like I'm gonna take James. Shouts out Fred. He gonna be on this bad boy soon. Like that's a cinematography entrepreneur. We have how to open your own hair salon. Where do you even start? It's like James, you have your whole class already started. Like it's
School.
already.
It's a school.
That's me. That's me. Hey, that's a little bro fault. You got your whole school. That's my bad. Shout them out.
Yeah, Rise.
You see how I led him to it? That's two. I set him up. That's a chess move. But but what I was saying was about community. I think eventually, I don't know how. I know Yahweh gonna make something happen. We're gonna get to the point where we have the funding. Whereas like Lexi, we don't have to wait until a January, February because we got HVACs and constructors who construction workers and people who are within our community that already know how to do the work, and all we got to do is pay them. And guess what? That money circulates back within our community now because guess where they're giving that money to their wives to come spend at the Lexington shop. And it's like that's how community works, but it doesn't work if we take money from Lexi, go to Wauwatosa, and then that money goes out of Wisconsin. That does nothing for Milwaukee, our entrepreneur community. And I think it does start here with these conversations because this isn't you know what I'm saying? This isn't a fix that's going to happen. It's probably going to be, Lexi, you going to be 33, 35. James going to be 106. You know what I'm saying? We going to be. It's going to be all funny because we're gonna come back to these moments where it's like, dog, we had to wait, and we are ground. James is really ground zero. We like ground one, where it's like your mom, James, because your mom is like what, four? I don't
She
know
about to be 44.
my point exactly. And it's like that's such a young age, but that's also something that you got to see. Like, oh, she's young doing this. So the younger, the earlier. Now we can tell Grayson, we can tell Lexington, yo, school isn't the only option like it was for us. You can go do this. And that's something I wanted to ask you. What do you have? And James, this is for you too. Well, I kind of know yours already, but for the sake of the podcast, what is y'all's parenting styles in the sense of what y'all want y'all children to be or the direction y'all want y'all children to go to?
The parenting style as like, what you mean, like when he get older?
Yes, like what kind of guidance do you feel like you're going to give him is in the sense of the direction of his life? Do you feel like you're going to let him choose and just be the assistant? Do you feel like you're going to be like, maybe you should steer a little bit towards this way? Or what do you think? I hope that
I
question makes sense.
I think the type of parent that I am, I'm gonna let him live his life and let him do whatever he want. Like I just plan on like saving up a lot of money for him, and then when he turned 18, he can choose like if he want to have a business or if he want to use that money towards college. It's really up to him what he want to do. I'm not the type of parent that's gonna be like, oh, you have to go to college. Like no, it's really up to him what he wants to do.
And I'm
Yeah,
pretty
I'm the
sure.
same. Yeah, I'm the
Yeah.
same. One of the main reasons, this is what you might not know about. You know this about me, but maybe you didn't put the connection. The reason why I'm like that is because I was stubborn. So if you tell me to go this way, I'm automatically gonna go the opposite way anyway, because you're making it seem like this is the only way to success, the only direction to success. I'm gonna be respectful, but I don't want my kids to do the same. Both I have a teenager and I don't know what you call 5-year-olds if they're still toddlers, whatever you want to call that. But I have
Pre-adolescent? I don't know.
yeah, but I'm just saying there's the difference. You know, one's about to be 6, one's about to be 16. But that's one thing that's in common. It's both going to be free. Well, hey, what do you want to do? These are the options that you have. Now, like you said, I'm going to assist. There are some things that you're not going to like about this. And that's your life still at the end of the day. Nothing is going to be easier whether I tell you to do it or you want to do it. It just feels better because you're doing what you want to do, right? And it's not going to change for the 5-year-old. You know, when Grayson, like he don't have a name.
I was
It's
gonna
not.
get. Oh, I was gonna hop on.
It's not.
Oh,
It's
don't do
not
it.
going to change for him. And I think we already raised them like that. You know, they have a free mind. They have no problem asking questions, and Ethan is gonna do anything between playing professional baseball, having his own sporting goods company, or going to college and finishing it for business. He has those are all the things that he wants to do, which I think is dope. What's up?
Photography.
Yeah, he might do that too. I know he talks about it, but he doesn't. He has to talk maybe to you. He has to talk to me about pursuing that. I know he enjoys it. He also enjoys cooking a lot. So
we might have to get him on there.
Yeah, that would be dope if he would do it.
I'm gonna ask him.
I should yell right now. And
he
ask
a dad.
him.
He's such a dad.
Nah, because it makes the podcast organic. But end of the day, no, it's up to him. I want him to have that that option, because I went to college 3 times because my parents wanted me to go. I didn't want to go the first time I went. Then when I moved to Virginia, they made a suggestion, which was manipulation, right? They'll say it ain't, but it was. So that was second. Then when I moved down here to Houston, grandma was like, baby, don't you think?
Not granny got you.
I'm like, grandma, I'm not. She was like, you can go for video games. I think at the time I was, digging the technology. And I went. I never forget. And I told the lady, because I knew her. I was like, I don't want to be here. I'm doing this for my grandma. I literally told her that. And of course, that didn't last long. I didn't want to do it in the first place.
You ain't gonna do it. Not even for video games.
Wanted to respect my elders. You know what I mean? Even if it meant disrespecting my own self. You know what I'm saying?
Putting yourself last. And,
Thanks.
With us, all of us actually being in a service community, a service entrepreneurship, service industry.
Yep.
Thank you, brother. I wish my daughter would have came in and helped me, but service
I
industry.
didn't know what you was trying to get to.
So, I was about to cuss, Lexi. You almost got me out of one. I almost got one. How do y'all keep y'all peace when y'all are going through stressful times? Y'all have a lot going on, or y'all close to burnout? What is something y'all do to pour back into yourselves, so maybe other entrepreneurs can get ideas of, oh, I never thought of that before?
I honestly, I kind of don't be having time on my plate to be pouring back into myself. If anything is bad what I do, I'll just shut down. If I feel like I got a whole bunch on my plate, I will literally shut down and end up not doing any of it, which is bad. But once I do have a plan on how I would like to be if I feel overwhelmed. I would like to have self-care days just dedicated to myself every week. So that could just be going out to eat, just self-maintenance. And then I plan on I want to get back into traveling every quarter of the year so I could have a reset. Because sometimes when you go out of town and you have a reset, it makes you want to come back home and just get remotivated to go harder. So that's my plan in the future.
I like the part what we talked about, genuineness, James. This is something that people don't get to see. They typically only see the other side of, I got everything put together. They don't see the side of, no, I shut down. And I actually want to ask you about that. Do you feel like sometimes...
can I answer the question?
I'm going to forget the question. And I feel like this is going to lead into your question. A question for you too.
But I didn't answer the other one, but go ahead. You got it. I'm not going to forget. Go ahead.
Thank you, because I will. Do you feel like the way that you were processing everything sometimes when you shut down, it's ruined relationships with other people?
Maybe because I probably cut them off unintentionally. Cause when I shut down, I don't want to talk to nobody. And maybe people probably get irritated with that. But I don't know. I just got to figure out in the future, it'll probably be better because I'll have more time to myself. But yeah, if I get overwhelmed and all that, I don't want to talk to nobody or anything. So it probably could have.
Even if people are trying to reach out to you and be there, like, hey, Lexi, what's going on? It's that's even too much to even explain at the time, huh?
Yeah, it's my mental capacity can't take it. I don't want to talk. Just leave me alone.
Got you.
Lexi, when we put this out, I want you to come back to this part and look at your face while you saying that. Because you look like you don't care. Like, man,
So I could give.
I ain't got nothing for you. I ain't got nothing for you anyway.
So both of those questions go to you too, James. How do you process?
I got it. Take it. I got a suggestion for you, Lex. If you choose to, of course. If you can set up a time where you're actually going to do your job out of town to where it can pay for your trip to get wherever you're going, you can make your money. And then once you're done with that job, you can take your reset while you're there already, right? You made your money, so and you ain't got to worry about that. And now you can do your reset and then come on back. And I know it might seem like, well, I'm back to doing what I do at home, but it can also pay you. Just an idea, something I like doing every now and again. Well, it would be cool to go DJ over here in this city or whatever. And then, they paying for my trip there, so I can just enjoy, the city while I'm here. So just idea. And then for you, Ju, so for me, how do I want to answer this? Because I talk a lot. Ask the question again so I can figure out how to answer.
All that he remembers.
Go ahead. Answer.
So the question was, how do you handle burnout, basically?
Got you. So I pray, I go to the gym, and I structure stuff. So for example, if it'll show, I have.
It ain't.
Let's see. Yeah, Mike, you see all of this stuff? This is all the stuff that I got to do today, right? And it's maybe 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. It's 10 or 12 things on here, and I completed about 5 or 6, right? But what I do is when I'm approaching burnout, I look and see what's priority. Like, do this need to be done today? Or like, for example, the podcast is on there today. I had to call somebody that took 2 minutes. Now the things that had to wait, my scheduling for this week, I can do that later on this evening. I actually can do that tomorrow because I have nothing going on tomorrow but family. It's one more thing that I waited for. The other one I ain't saying. But those things are the things that I'm like, yo, this is not important right now. And I actually hit you up earlier. I'm like, man, I got a lot of stuff to do. For me, I don't know, maybe this is you, Lex, and you don't know. For me, since I'm an overthinker, sometimes it don't even be the work that get me going crazy. It's the thought of the work. It's like, it's overwhelming just seeing it all. But then the next step after that is, okay, what are you about to take out of this? Right? Okay, you got 12 things to do today. Are you really going to get 12 of these done? Can something really wait? And once I decide what that is, okay, cool. So, and even within the ones that became priority, let's just say 6 of them was priority for today. I even broke some of those down. I was doing dishes while I was editing the podcast because all I need to do is listen and then just stop what I'm doing to figure out what needs to be edited if it does at all. The whole time I'm cleaning the kitchen. So it allows me to do 2 things.
And that works for your brain too.
Yeah, and I wanted to do something else, but it didn't get done because I needed to be available for this. So it's like, okay, that can wait till later. And then now I got more than half the stuff done, so it ain't no stress. And now actually the dude I needed to call, that 2-minute phone call, which was about 2 minutes, he ain't even have all the information he needed. So now he need to call me back. It's on them now.
So
you know what I mean?
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, and I was going to wait until a little later, but I'm like, I had time. Go ahead.
No, because this is, what were you like when you didn't have these coping mechanisms and you were reaching burnout? Were you?
I didn't get to burnout because I was scared of this moment. And I told you this before. My phone, I get at least, and I know to some of y'all this may be normal, but if you don't know me, I'm very much an introvert. I can work a room, but I don't like people at all. So the idea of me having 12, literally 10 to, lately it's been 12, 10 to 20 messages in my phone that's not my brother in a day is very overwhelming for me. I want to throw this phone. So for me, I would make myself have situations that wouldn't allow that to happen. So again, going back to earlier, networking. I'm not going to network because this is going to mean we got to keep in contact.
So do you feel like you cut some people off or lost some chances to network because of that?
For sure. I don't think I cut anybody off because, again, the way that me and you were raised, I acknowledged everybody. So there was no dismissal of people. If you wasn't working, you wasn't getting, like, if we were working on music and you just weren't available, or
like
those would be people I cut off. Yeah, but they knew they weren't gonna last anyway, because they were just seeing if we were gonna get there. Like, is this dude gonna say yeah? I've had a bunch of people say, man, I thought you was gonna tax me like $2,000-3,000 to be in the studio with you. And I'm like, no. So some of them were scared. So they never even made it to the studio. And it's like, okay, well, I don't want to work with you because now you're wasting my time. And I'm sure Lexi knows this. It's different now because more people put in deposits. Back in the day, it's like, yo, we set this time. This time is set for you. It wasn't no deposits, even though that's still business. But you're the first time. Our first time we building something here. It's different because it's music. Yeah. But you don't show up, you don't call, you don't text.
Oh my goodness.
And you know me, that just make me push people further away. Not that person.
Everybody.
Yeah.
I don't want to work with nobody.
Yep.
And I guess just being mindful of time too, because we will talk. Bringing this back to community, because I do want to clip that as a way we give advice to other people, but bring in how everything is tied back into a community. Lexi, what community did it take for you to get here? Because I mean, I know I could recall some of the people, like the lady at the shop, your mom, your little sister, but is there anybody else that you would say is prominent in your life right now who played a role in you getting the shot, being able to sustain it, and being where you're at now? And then
you just shouted out 3 people too.
That kind of, I thought that was Lexi's.
Hey, chestnut checkers, buddy. Go ahead, Lex.
I would basically just say like my immediate family, like my mom, my granny, and my sister, cousin, and uncle. That's pretty much who basically helped me through the journey of entrepreneurship.
And is there anything that, because me and James always talk about this, and this is something we try to avoid with community, but it's a good thing at the same time. Do you feel a certain indebtedness to them? Like, do you feel like you're obligated to do things now because they helped you, or is that not something that you feel?
Obligated to do like what in regards to what?
Could be anything. And James, maybe you can explain this a little bit better coming from the music industry, but typically people hold things over your head like, well, I helped you get your shop open, so go run this errand for me. Or I helped you do this, so go do this for me.
My family not like that. Like they don't like hold stuff over your head. So I don't like feel obligated to like have to do something because of like them helping me out. I'll just like want to do it just because, but like they're not gonna like hold anything over my head. So
that's dope.
Super dope. Because not a lot of families is like that.
Mm-hmm.
And James, same question for you. Who would you say, this is gonna hurt because I wasn't alive at this part. Who a part of your community helped you get to where you're at today? Shouts out. You can do your thing. No, they don't count.
You know what? Nah, it ain't even gonna be no shouts out. Because nobody taught me. I didn't become an entrepreneur looking at people and say, I want to be like that. I want to be an entrepreneur like that. Honestly, what happened is I wanted to do music for a living because I always kept a full-time job. And I was like, why can't I just do what I love for a living? Why I got to do it after work? And I was like, I'm going to start looking for companies. So I would have to, I guess, give the credit to these companies. But I went to a DJ company and they hired me. And I went and did an event and I hated all of the things that the company represented. It was like horrible customer service. They was doing a wedding. The guy wasn't dressed how I felt appropriately for a wedding. There was a client that asked for a song and he was like, I don't have it. I'm like, what? Like, it was just like, those are all the things that I felt like embodied a good business anyway. Take music out of it. Just a good business. So in my mind, I was like, well, I can do this. If this is what you have to do, all I have to worry about is finding the actual gigs, right? Which is an appreciation that comes along with that. Like, I'm finding my customers. So once I did that event, and I still didn't look at it as entrepreneurship because remember, it was the freedom of being creative. I just wanted to do that on my own will and actually service the people the way that he wasn't.
Yeah.
So I did it in that night. I was like, yo, a long time ago, arguably when y'all was kids, about 15 years ago. How old was y'all? In high school, little whippersnappers?
15 years ago, we was
Like
probably
10.
11.
Yeah, y'all ain't gotta look back that long.
Don't do that.
All right, so I had to get you back. You hit me earlier. But no, so I had an aux cord in the car. So I'm like, yo, we can figure this out and make them happy. And from that moment, I was like, yo, I can do this on my own. But again, I still didn't look at it as an entrepreneur. I was doing what I loved on my terms. That's how it was, a creative thing more than entrepreneurship. So
got you. So then I guess this is the finale question for Lexi.
Wait, y'all. Okay, I forgot to say something else. So besides like my immediate family that helped me with my business, I can't forget about like my clients and all that, because if it wasn't for any of my clients, like I wouldn't like continue to be, going strong. And also anybody who has like rented a chair in my salon too. They like contribute to my entrepreneurship.
that's a great answer. And I'm gonna say the same. Shouts out to my clients, because pretty sure I can tell off your demeanor, it's a community within itself in that, because look, they will tell their grandparents and their kids, graduation, like there's so many different experiences that we have with different generations. But I'm glad you said it, because it made me think it is. My clients, I did an event, I'll never forget. I did an event for this couple that was from Louisiana, and I didn't know about bounce music. No, not bounce music, second line music, like I thought I did.
And what's second line music for people who have no idea?
You asking some dope questions, bro. Appreciate it. That's real. Second line music is generally a celebratory music that they play. And I don't know this to be fact, but I do know that they play this music and they do this this movement when people pass. So when people die, it's not really sad, it's a celebration. Yeah. So you got brass instruments, drums, boom, 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 and you see them all walking on the street, and they're happy, they're smiling, they're dancing. You can't look at that and not smile unless you just really want to be angry. Like, you know what I mean? And my wife knows when I die, that's what I want at my funeral. I don't want the regular funeral. I want that second line. Now, I don't know if second line is just for death or if it's just Louisiana culture thing, right? But I played the wrong second line music at this wedding. So one of the dudes like, man, this the old stuff. Like, he really got on me, and they helped me in that moment. You know what I mean? They could be like, man, we ain't pay for this. You know what I mean? You're supposed to know this already. And I lean on that in business. So to Lexi's point, I look for my customers to actually help me. I'm not, and they all know I don't know it all. I got a huge IQ in music, but it's too much music that comes out for me to know that. But let me get my shout outs, since Lexi made me think it is. Melvin, Tamia.
Oh, he got the handout.
Mark, Rico, Stephanie. Of course, my wife. But I say those people because when I'm thinking of something, I'll reach out to them. Like when I wanted to be a DJ, Rico Love was touring around the world, and he had 3 female DJs DJing behind him because he wanted his show to be different. So I'm like, yo, what do your audiences look for in the DJ? And then, he broke all of those things down for me. Tamia is like my sister. She gonna
be on here.
She gonna give me that hardcore. James, what you need to do is blah, blah, blah. She's going to be straight up. Melvin's the same way. My wife, even though it used to annoy me, it's almost like you pick apart everything. And now I see it as you seeing it on the other side. But I felt like it's like, man, do you realize how hard I'm working? And it's like, that ain't what you asked me. You didn't ask me to celebrate you for how hard you're working. You asked what I thought about this. And I'm telling you, James, you sound too cool when you emceeing. You said, don't nobody want to hear that monotone voice? And that made me look at things different. Like, oh, I can't. So look, she falling asleep on me.
No.
I ain't even be talking.
Hey, we taking that. We using that. But nah, my wife helped me changed my whole MCing. Lexi, I say this to you because you remind me a lot of me and my niece, right? Jay. You remind me of Jay.
I was gonna say she is your niece. Like, what is this guy talking about? Like,
no disrespect. Unniece, niece. Unquote. Anyway, look. I can work a room, but I don't want to work a room. And that was the first time that I had to understand that with my wife saying, look, you sound really dry when you're on a microphone. And I know you have the potential to do otherwise. So why don't you be that guy that we all know? And I'm like, because I don't want to, and this is my company. But the crowd doesn't receive it well. So I got to turn that on, and I still hate it because, we in the crowd. I know music is not going to change this scenario. I got to say something. So sometimes I'm dreading, let me do this. And then y'all hear how I'm talking now? It's like, this is my regular voice. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the bathroom is on your left. Gentlemen, make sure you tell a friend. And it's like, oh, got to do this all night. And this is how you have DJs go home in complete silence like this.
Niggas don't want to talk about nothing. Dang, and you know what? It's funny. Well, first, I'm glad y'all shouted out y'all clients because I think that's so dope. And I think, again, that's the community we're building. Like, appreciation is an episode that we got. Y'all go check that out. But it's something that we really try to be intentional with. And I want to take the time to say, Lexi, we appreciate you for taking the time to join today. And what is something that you maybe want to give how many followers and viewers we may have? What's something, our me and James viewers. What do you want to tell people, or what is something about yourself that people don't know that you would either like people to know, feel like they should know, or whether it's just shouting your business out again? What is something that you want to say?
Something in regards to myself. Let me think. I'm a very optimistic individual. Like, I always think positive in regards to anything. Like, I could just be going through something that other people may just think is so bad, but like, I'm always gonna have a optimistic attitude about it. I'm not the type of person to ever give up. Like, I'm gonna try my hardest to accomplish any goal, and I'm never gonna quit at all. I'm trying to think. If it's something that I want in life, I'm gonna go get it. If God gives me a vision of like how my future is going to be, I'm gonna go get it too. Like, nobody could stop me. Nothing could stop me. I think that's like the biggest thing about me.
Lex, that is so dope to hear. And I want to say personally, me and you have a long-standing relationship, and we both got to see each other grow. She got to see me at my youngest times, James, up in high school, where your boy was, doing his due diligence. And then she got to see her boy now. And hopefully she's coming in July. I'm not going to bring up no more. You know what I'm saying? We know what it is. But Lexi, I truly appreciate you for coming. I know James, man, she ain't yawning. I know James appreciates it too. And I don't want to cut you off, James. You got anything you want to say before we go?
Well, yeah, it was pretty dope talking to you, Lex. We definitely invite you whenever you want to come aboard to chop it up, whatever it is. Good combo.
I don't mind. I appreciate y'all too for having me.
Thank you. And this has been Hearts of the Community with Jay, Ju, and Lex. Lex, peace them out real quick.
Peace.
Yeah.